a Venus fly trap. This shit looked pretty interesting. I ain't gonna lie, I was just scrolling on YouTube. This shit popped up and we about to watch it. It was Dave's idea.
This is
Not mine.
50 Venus flytrap plants, and in this video, I'm gonna put 1,000 flies in the same container as them. Will the sheer number of flies trick the traps, causing them to close, or are the flies just simply cooked?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's why I bought this.
This is 1,000 fly larvae. Yeah,
Ew.
might look extremely nasty, but over the next week, as long as I feed them food, they should all turn into flies, so I can do
Ew!
So while we wait for these guys to turn into flies.
Wait! That's how flies start off? No wonder, bro, them nasty little larva thingies. Ew!
Obviously, I have all of these Venus flytraps.
Check my DMs off stream. Okay.
But I also have tons of
I'm like, I knew his name was some bullshit.
other carnivorous plants that you may have never even seen before. Meaning I'm gonna be able to do tons of different tests in this video. It's gonna be super cool.
And for test number 1, I want to show you guys the smallest Venus flytraps.
Now, I know it may sound stupid,
Flies
but
are
I
so
promise you how
disgusting,
they
bro.
work and catch insects is actually really insane. Let me show you how they work.
And yeah, it's not a joke how small these things are, because when compared to normal Venus flytraps, the jaws are about 10 times smaller. And in fact, they're kind of cute, to be honest.
But since these are minuscule, the normal prey
Them
feed in
bitches
my videos is
tiny.
not gonna cut it. Yeah, sorry Cricket, you get to live another day. That's why instead I got literally the smallest thing available.
These are flightless fruit flies, which if you've seen my channel
What?
before, you know they're pretty much the most useless animal. Because seriously, bro, how are you a fly that doesn't have the ability to fly? That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I put the smallest
Bro,
Venus flytraps
that's
in the
so
testing
nasty.
enclosure. Then I put one of these flies inside to see if he'd get caught. Start the timer. Now
That
this
little
fly
itty
didn't
bitty
waste
fly.
any time, because it immediately walked straight up to one of
That
the
shit like
Venus
an ant.
flytrap pots, and then started to walk all over the tops of the jaws, absolutely risking his life. You may already know this, but normal Venus flytraps work by having these super tiny trigger hairs inside of them that when a bug or something touches them, it snaps shut. But these traps are obviously the smallest in the world. Because of that, they have extremely small trigger hairs. And I'm talking so small that if I zoom in like 100x on this footage, they're so thin, my camera can't even pick them up. And I guess the trigger hairs were quite literally so thin that every time this flightless fruit fly walked inside the jaw of a trap, the jaw didn't close at all, and the fly was able to just
Bro, if you're that small and this nigga gotta do all this to eat, like, get you to eat something, what do they even eat then? What are these flies going around and eating? They can't, bro, they must be starving. No wonder they
walk
so
out.
small.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. These flightless fruit flies weigh about 0.0003 grams. So yeah, I guess the traps quite literally can't even be triggered by how light their weight is.
Yeah, clearly
Hey.
the fruit flies aren't gonna work. So instead, I got the world's smallest cricket instead to test. Let's see if this works any better.
And oh boy, let me just tell you, things were a lot more interesting this time around. Because once again, the cricket walked straight up to one of the trap pots and started climbing all over the
Okay,
tops
that's way
once
too
again.
big.
But this time, quite literally within 30 seconds, the cricket happened to put his face up to the lip of one of the Venus flytraps. You may also already know this, but these plants produce a special kind of nectar around the lips of their jaws to lure insects in like this cricket. And you can see it was working pretty well, because this
What do y'all think the juice on them fly traps taste like, bro? What is it that attracts them to this juice? This I don't even know what I was about to say, bro. Let's just move.
cricket was just
What the fuck
absolutely
am I even
slurping
saying?
this nectar up. But he was getting a bit too distracted, because he then stepped into the trap, probably stepping on the micro trigger hairs, which then caused
trapped?
the jaws of it to close. But the cricket was too fast, and he was barely able to make it out
I
with
knew
his
he was
life.
gonna get
Dang,
out.
that was a close call, but you can see how quickly that can all happen. And yeah, don't worry guys, because it was only a few minutes later when the cricket did the same exact thing. He walked up to another jaw, walked straight into it, and yeah, this time the trap closed on him while he was starting to walk out, leaving half of his body now
Oh.
sticking out of the trap. Even though these are the smallest Venus flytraps in the world, they trap insects nearly just as well as the fully grown ones. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
And yeah, while I wait for those 1,000 flies to hatch so we can do the final test, in the meantime, I want to show you some other
I
insane
wonder, like,
carnivorous plants that you
if
may have
that's just
never
killing them,
seen
though.
before, with the second one being sundews.
Yep, everyone knows what Venus flytraps are, but not everyone knows what a sundew is, but they're actually pretty cool.
Fuck is
Let me show
that?
you what they do.
So obviously, like fly traps, sundews
I've seen
are
that
also
before.
a carnivorous plant. Except instead of having jaws, it has these long stems with these little red hairs on the top of them. But on each of these little red hairs is a special kind of sticky glue it produces that will make it so when a fly or any other insect touches it, it gets permanently stuck because of how sticky it is.
And when an insect gets stuck on here, the trap does something insane to be able to consume the insect, which I'll show you very soon when it
That shit
obviously
about
traps
to
an
twirl
insect.
up
So
on
yeah,
it.
I got multiple of these sundew plants, and I even got this slightly different kind of sundew called an octopus plant. That will be cool to see if this can catch any insects as well. So let's get these in the testing chamber.
And for this, I think I'll be using a cricket once again, because they're literally perfect. They can just climb up the side of the stems and yeah, just get stuck. This should be fun to watch. Let's put this dude inside.
So
Does
yeah,
this nigga
once
just
again,
be
I just started
ordering
with one of these
insects,
guys,
bro?
but if this guy gets caught fast, I'll be adding way more inside of here. Anyways, so this cricket for the first minute kind of just wandered around the walls of the enclosure, but it wasn't long until he started heading towards the sundews. Now you see, the sticky glue that this plant produces is actually a type of nectar, which smells and tastes great to the insects. So yeah, just like how
Okay.
Venus flytraps lure insects in with their nectar, these traps do the same thing, because this cricket then decided to start climbing up the stem. The only thing is though that he ended up stopping right before the sticky part, and that's actually because of his antenna. You see, crickets have these pretty long antennas that help them navigate and detect danger before running into it, and this guy's antenna actually ended up getting stuck in the sticky nectar part. But using its mouth, it was able to pull the antenna back and then started to lick all the nectar off of it. Yeah, and I'm not kidding, this cricket
This nigga
really
got
just
the
sat here
methods.
for like 30 minutes, constantly licking his antenna, then putting it back into the sticky nectar, and then licking it back up. He was kind of outsmarting this carnivorous plant and just getting its nectar for free. So I'm not
Bro,
gonna lie, I
insects
just
is
tried
smart.
to push him towards it with my tweezers since he clearly wasn't gonna do it on his own. And yeah, he just kind of ended up falling off.
Yo, what the heck? I was just trying to record that cricket and I just realized there's a jumping spider in here. Do you see that? It's on the little octopus plant. Is it stuck?
Yeah,
Bro,
this jumping
how?
spider just happened to wander into this enclosure by accident. I guess he was just living.
This nigga got too many insects in his house, bro. How does a random jumping spider just get into your experiment? The fuck? Why is that even there?
Somewhere in my house. But since he was here, I figured I'd just watch him to see if he would get caught by the traps. And pretty quickly, he started to climb the stems of the trap and got up to the sticky
This is
part.
an
But yeah, he
insecty-ass
was kind of
nigga.
too smart for this trap too, and turned around the second he realized it was sticky. But it was pretty cool to watch this guy just jump around the plants. However, he never really ended up getting
Spider-Man!
trapped, and he ended up just climbing out of the enclosure.
All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie.
Kill
This
that
cricket,
nigga.
I've been trying to record him getting eaten for like 2 hours now. And every time, right before going on the sticky part, he just stops and cleans his antenna. And yeah, he just turns around and never actually goes on the sticky part. He's too smart for this. So yeah, let me take this guy out.
Instead, I
Yeah!
actually just got out the
He
flightless
touching
fruit
it.
flies again.
Go to the back of your head, name 5 reasons you're not sub to the channel right now. Sub up, you this far in the video, my God.
Because apparently this is actually Sundew's favorite insect. And yeah, I just dumped a few on the sand, and it wasn't long until some of them started to climb all over the stems and eventually started getting stuck all over the different sticky parts. I even went and just dumped a crazy amount of these flies all over the top of the Sundew plants to show you guys exactly how cool Sundews really are. Because obviously
Ew,
now you can see
bro.
the sticky parts of the plants are just completely covered in flightless fruit flies. Now, if you're wondering how this plant actually eats the flies, well, this footage shows how. As you can see, it uses each of its red hairs to basically curl around the prey. And once all of those curl around it, the stem itself also starts to curl around the prey. This will basically ensure the fly has a 0% chance of escaping, while the plant releases basically an acid to consume it. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So yeah, it's pretty cool to see these things work. All these flies are just
Yo,
gonna
curl
turn
up.
into food for these plants very soon.
All right, there's still one more major carnivorous plant type that I haven't shown yet. They're called pitcher plants.
Yep, this
Pitcher
plant can
plant?
also eat insects. And actually how it does it is probably the most brutal out of all of them. Let me show you.
Yep, like I said, these are called pitcher plants. And similar to the
These
last
have a
plant, they have pretty long
good
stems that
roach
go up.
fan
But the difference
farm
is
from my old
this
visit.
time at the top,
A roach
there's this
farm,
little
dude.
trapdoor leaf thing. that if you look is actually covering a hole that leads directly down to
I
a
hate
pit
bugs,
of
bro.
acid at the bottom of the stem. Yep, these traps have this little hole here that's lined with a super slippery nectar on the inside.
What
so
the
whenever an
fuck,
insect
bro?
walks
These niggas got little traps.
directly down to a pit of acid at the bottom of the stem. Yep, these traps have this
Look
little
at
hole
this
here
shit.
that's
It's a whole fucking trap. These niggas fall into their death. No bullshit.
lined with a super slippery
I hate
nectar on
bugs,
the
though, bro.
inside.
I
so whenever an
hate
insect
bugs.
walks inside, they'll slip
There's
into
one
the
thing you'll
acid
learn
at-
about me watching me, bro. I hate bugs. No bullshit. I will never be a nigga to be like, oh, look at this nice bug. Let's keep it alive. No, say goodbye, bro. Say goodbye. I'm killing a bug, bro. No.
the bottom and
I
yeah.
hate
And what's
bugs.
really cool is if you actually look inside of this pitcher plant, since it's kind of small and shallow, you can actually
All
see
bugs.
the pool of acid at the bottom. And it actually looks like there's a couple little flies and stuff in
The
there.
fuck?
Which it looks like it's actually already dissolving. So yeah, it'd be cool to see some crickets or something following these.
I
Let's
wonder if
test
you could
out.
pour it
I
upside
didn't even
down.
need to use an enclosure this time because I knew this was going to be an extremely fast test. Because immediately after placing the cricket on this first pitcher plant, it started to climb along the sides of the red pitcher. As you can see, the inside of the plant is lined with these downward pointing hairs. This is to make it even more slippery and hard to escape. And yeah, it's kind of funny to see how fast this all happens, but the next time the cricket went to the opening of this plant, it straight up just slipped in right away.
Damn.
Nah, this dude had no clue this plant has evolved over millions of
the
years to
plant
just
of
be able
death.
to eat them this fast. Yeah, and as you can see on
Spiders
this
for me,
footage that I
all
recorded
bugs
on
for
my
me, bro.
phone, he was now just sitting at the bottom of this pool of
bugs.
acid. Over the next few days, it'll dissolve him and turn him into nutrients for this
Dang.
plant to grow even stronger and larger. Nice.
And yeah, that's really all there is to these pitcher plants. They're not really the most interesting thing ever. But I actually have some great
That's fire, though.
news, guys, because if you look in this container, you can see many of my flies are starting to hatch.
And that means we
Ew,
can
bro, like, ew. And flies are the worst. Flies and mosquitoes, top 2 worst insects ever.
finally start doing some massive scale Venus
whatever
flytrap
they are,
tests
bro.
and eventually test as many flies as I can against all of my Venus flytraps to see who wins. Let's start very simple though with 5 Venus flytraps versus a single fly. And let's see if this fly
These are
can get
contained?
trapped
Yeah,
in
but
under
that's so
a minute.
nasty.
Now I know you may be thinking, bruh, Terra Green, I don't care about one fly, this is boring. Well, don't worry, because this literally only lasted like 20 seconds. Because immediately this fly started to crawl up the side of a pot, and of course he made his way immediately into a jaw, triggered one of the hairs, and it closed directly on him. Yup, flies are basically the one thing Venus flytraps are the best at catching. I mean, they're called Venus flytraps for a reason.
Anyways, I got the
I
tank
need
where
some
the
Venus
final test
flytraps.
will be taking place
Them
right
niggas
here,
know.
obviously. And oh, on top, there is a box that I want to
I'm
show
about,
you.
hey,
There
I'm
is
about to
something
start
that-
mass producing Venus flytraps. No bullshit. I need to start mass producing these plants, bro. I'm about to get rid of them.
really cool in this box.
I hate
it's
flies.
these 2 little drawstring bags.
As you can see, they say Terrapals on them, and that's because Terrapals is what I'm calling my brand new line of plushies. And in this first limited edition packs,
C20.
let's get back. I removed the lid, put them straight into this enclosure so we could get this final test started. Quickly, I removed the lid and started the timer. Let the test begin.
Are they gonna start
immediately, a
flying?
couple of flies started
Oh!
to fly out of the container, and others started to walk out of the sides. Now, there was something weird though, because while the container had a decent amount of movement in it, only like 10 of the flies were actually leaving the container over the 4-hour time lapse here. Yeah, basically all the flies were staying in there. So I decided to just take the paper towel out that they were all on and tried to just shake
Ew.
off as many as I could onto the Venus flytraps. And obviously, this meant that a few of the flies
need
were now
some- I
scattered
need
all
some
over the
plants in my
traps
life.
and were actually starting to get trapped. But most of them were just being super inactive, barely moving, and not flying.
That's
I
'cause
guess
they
because
dumbass
were just
flies.
newly hatched flies, and it takes a while for them to become normal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is kind of a fail. Basically, none of the flies are flying around, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this.
But don't worry, because my YouTube friend Flytrap Films recorded a test with an insane amount of flies, super similar to this. And he wanted me to show you it. In it, you can see he has a Venus flytrap plant out, and also a
Nasty
bunch of
flies.
rotten meat in order to attract the flies. Yeah, and it worked really well, because instantly tons of flies started to gather around this plant. And you guessed it, started to get trapped. I mean, when you have this many flies, it's a given that tons are just gonna get trapped right away. And what's so crazy is that sometimes so many would gather on some of the jaws before they close, causing up to 6 flies to get trapped in the same jaw at the same
Perfect.
time. What? Flytrap Films himself said that this is the most flies he's ever seen get caught at once. Also, some bonus footage for you guys. Hey, you remember those pitcher plants from earlier? Flytrap Films also did the same test with a massive pitcher plant to show you guys how effective these things are at catching flying insects. And this plant literally just looks like a vacuum cleaner sucking up all the flies, which in a way it kind of is, because every time a flying insect flaps its wings above the opening in this plant, it creates a weird kind of vacuum effect with the wind, causing the bug to actually get pulled down into it. And yep, after not too much time, this thing just caught so many flies. And it was literally just starting to overflow. That is probably the craziest performance from a carnivorous plant that I have ever seen. Thank you, Flytrap Films, for letting me show you this footage. Make sure to check out more of his videos, guys, if you want to see more like this. His content.
I like that. W fucking video, y'all. I like that. Get rid of the flies. Get rid of them. I need them. I need one of them plants. The vacuum one and a Venus fly. I'm about to. Y'all gonna see a whole botanical garden, bro. Botanical garden. Y'all gonna have one right in my background. Y'all see I do got one little yeah in the back. Yeah. I'm about to become a planter, a gardener. Okay. If y'all enjoyed the video, bro, sub up to the channel, like the video up, and come over to the Twitch, Nate Ramon, bro, if you want to be part of the reactions. And also join the Discord in the description, man, and just come be part of the reactions, bro. Watch the Twitch. Why not?